We do ask every comic the best bomb story.
What's your best bomb story?
I don't know, man. Well, I think the most memorable bomb I think is I did a church in Stockton, and they put me up right. It was like a fish fry. They put me up right when they're like getting the food, and I'm up there, and there's all these old ladies, and it was a holy church too. You know what I mean? I think it might have been Kojic or something. You know, real spiritual. Like, you know, Baptist a little more fun, or a little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when you deal with the Holiness Church or something, you know, and I was up there, they was kind of looking at me, and I heard somebody back, who is this? Who's
this OG?
So then I got off stage, I was like, well, thank y'all for having me. No claps, no nothing. I got off stage, and I kind of ran out the side. And the preacher, he come following behind me because Jay Red is the one that, but you know Jay Red?
I think so.
Yeah, but he one set it up for me, and I ran out the side, and I was about to go hop in the car. I didn't even want to get paid. That's how bad it was.
It's not even worth it.
Right, and the preacher was like, hey, come here, and then he's giving me advice. You gotta get them warmed up. And then he was like, man, here's your money, man. I said, nah, man, just keep. He said, no, don't worry about it. I said, all right, thanks, man.
Bombings for free.
Right. I said, thanks, man. Then I told him, I said, hey, man, don't tell Jay Red what happened. Because he's the one that booked me.
Yeah. I know Jay Red.
So I get in the car and I'm driving, and then Jay Red calls me, hey, man. I said, hey, man, how's it going? He said, yeah, man, heard you had a bad time. I said, the pastor lied to me. He said he wasn't going to do it. But Jay Red put me on some more shows that week. You know, it happens.
I remember one time I had I had like auditioned to be on a Jay Red show for a church. And I remember I didn't get it. But then I remember you had got it, and I was like, well, how do you even do how do you even do church stuff? And I remember later Joe Hill did one at the church like that I picked my dad up from earlier today. And he was like, oh man, yeah, we was wondering if you was gonna pop up. I was like, no, because like I'm like super nervous. Like my dad, my mom are like really into the church. Like they got ministry and stuff like that.
That's a lot of pressure.
Did
you say your dad was a deacon too?
He's a deacon. He's a so that's like high up. Then he's on right?
Real rank in the royal right there.
No, the deacons.
Like he like this one guy.
No, basically,
see, the deacons.
Call him.
Exactly.
The deacons are in charge of finance. Okay, so
and they got the key to the. They got the keys to the church.
Yeah. So then he's on the praise and worship team. Then he's also in the choir, like
Ned Flanders.
Yeah, basically like one of the leads. And then my mom's best friend is the choir director and stuff like that. And so like they know. So I'm just like, if I go here and do bad, this gonna look bad on all of them. Because my dad be like, you know, my son, he be doing good. He be doing comedy.
Find a new church.
Yeah, basically. I was like,
find a new religion.
I was like, my first church.
You Catholic now, bro.
I was like, my first church performance won't be at my church.
Oh yeah, that'd be weird.
I don't blame you. Sometimes you really can't come home.
Yeah.
Right.
Besides that experience, do you like the church shows?
I love it, man. The church crowd, man. The church crowds go because they want you to win.
Oh, okay.
They really want you to do good.
Yeah.
You know, usually, except for the old people in Stockton. I'll never forget you, old lady. In the back, get him off stage. Oh my goodness,
Miss Betty back there.
Right. But yeah, the church shows, man, they go bananas, man.
That's funny.
And the cool part about it, I do my regular material. The same material I do at Tommy T's, I'll do at the church show.
Oh.
The only thing is I don't curse, and I probably won't do any sexual content. Anything else? I talk about weed, up to drugs, everything.
I did a church show once, and it wasn't a church show at a church, but it was a church group that does events in Richmond.
Okay.
And I got booked, and I did good up until I did a sex joke.
Right.
And then I did a Jesus joke. That is not like a bad thing, but it just like I lost.
But I think you could do a sex joke. It's all about how you it's about how you package it. Because you know they talk about sex in church anyway. They talk about but you got to package it right. You know, you might be able to deliver a sex joke being married or something. You know, it's a married situation. You know, once you paint it right, and then you do, because if you peep it, the pastor do a joke before he started sermon, every sermon.
Right.
And then while he's doing the sermon, he'll loosen you up and say, you know what I mean? You know, you might really, you know, your body belongs to your husband. Ladies, you hear that?
You know, no lies have been told here.
You know what? Like watching like preachers, pastors, you learn to perform. Like it you know, they got it down. You know,
I mean, if you look at it from that angle, because you got to think about it, like if you got a decent sized church, you're probably running 3 sermons a Sunday. So you do an 8 o'clock service, 11 o'clock service, 7 o'clock service. You'll probably have one on Wednesday for Bible study, which is really another session.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then depending if you're a holiness church, you have a Holy Ghost service Friday night or something like that. So you're really performing 7 times a week.
7 times a week, 7 shows.
Right. So the preacher got it easier than us because everything he's preaching has been preached before. Yeah. And he's getting it out the Bible, and we're talking about topics like this, and it should be that easy for us as well too. That's what I'm noticing. If we really get to really just talking about real life and stuff that you know about, then you'll really win.
That's true.
When it comes to your writing, because when you start trying to just I get it if you're writing for a sitcom or
try
something.
to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Just talk about your life. Talk about you could do a set about doing your podcast. You know what I mean?
We need to up our game and shit. We need to do comedy butt naked, right?
I remember this dude. He started saying his goodbyes.
At the end, I just remember the guy coming up and giving me the check, and he goes, "Yeah, that'll be our last time."
When the Beatles, wrote the White Album, did they have to pass it in front of some drunk? What